Now on 23.5, we'll take you on a virtual reality trip to an underwater world and show you conservation really can work to help save some of the most vulnerable victims of climate change. And this man, you'll meet him. He's led Greenpeace environmental protest actions for over 3 decades. You'll meet Greenpeace Captain Peter Wilcox. Plus, how a phone app and crowdsourced data can actually become a weapon you can use against air pollution. All right now on 23.5. Coral reefs, they're so much more than just something to look at while you're snorkeling with your friends or family. They're actually critical to marine life. 1/4 of all ocean species depend on them for food and shelter. But as we've seen with the Great Barrier Reefs in Australia and other reefs around the world, climate change has taken a serious toll on this sea life habitat. Now meet Dr. Sanjayan, Executive Vice President for Conservation International.
Many scientists think that some of the coral bleaching events we're seeing now are really the death knell for coral reefs worldwide. Corals can handle some amount of bleaching. Corals are basically little animals, but they have plants inside them. They sort of act as hosts for little plants that actually photosynthesize, get energy from the sun. So they're sort of a plant and animal combined. When they get too hot, when the water temperature gets above, say, 80 degrees or so, for a prolonged period, corals don't like that, and they kick out the plant host, which is what makes them sort of, to some extent, lose some of that color.
I didn't understand that was the process that happened.
Right. And if they do that long enough, then they just get weak and they start dying. Now, they can handle a little bit of bleaching. They're designed to deal with warm waters occasionally. The problem is we've had 3 big warm water events that have swept across the Pacific, starting on the East Coast, going all the way to the West. We've had it in the Caribbean. And these events have been prolonged. They've lasted for well over a year, a couple of years, and they've been repeated. So in the last 18 years, we've had 3 of the worst bleaching events we've known of on record. And they're all related to warming of the oceans.
Marine life is driven to these areas where the reef...
So coral reefs provide all the structure, all the food, all the hiding spaces that a whole cascade of other big animals use. And so you should think of coral reefs as nursery grounds for fish. You should think of them as coastal protection for shorelines. They stop wave erosion. They stop wave action. They're probably the hardest working bit of habitat on Earth. It's true.
No, I like the phrase.
Acre, they probably do more work for life on Earth, but also for humans, than any habitat I can possibly think of. You find them in very, very specific places. They also tend to be places where people like to live. They like to live there for the weather, but they also like to live there because coral reefs allow, particularly indigenous people, local communities, an easy access to food. Otherwise, you'd have to go miles and miles out there to catch fish.
It's going to be difficult for most people who are sitting at home watching to experience it. And it is one of the most incredible natural experiences I think you can ever have, is getting face-to-face with this kind of beauty, the color, the life that surrounds them. But you've done something. You've created a way that anyone can have a virtual view.
Yes.
Explain that.
So what we did was we just came out with a new film, but it's a virtual reality film. The film's called Valence Reef, and it's set in, I think, the most diverse spot on the planet, right? A place where there's, 1,700 species of fish. It's just unimaginable numbers of fish, 600 species of coral, et cetera, et cetera. It's off the Bird's Head of Papua, Indonesia. Now, if I was to take you there, the challenge would be just getting you there. It's 4 plane flights, a really horrendous taxi drive through Indonesia, not to be recommended, and then a long, long boat ride, right? 50 hours to just get you there. I can take you there and back in now 7 minutes, and I can really immerse you in the water on the reef and with the community that is taking care of it. So we partnered up with this amazing company called Here Be Dragons. They do some of the best virtual reality films.
Here Be Dragons.
Here Be Dragons.
Love
what a great name,
love
right?
The name.
They used to be called VerseWorks, and they changed their name to Here Be Dragons.
This is better.
Much better. And then Tiffany Foundation, who's always supported coral conservation, came in and helped underwrite the film. And so now I can put on some virtual reality headsets on you or me and on anyone you want, and then we can go on this incredible ride, meet the people who are protecting the reef, but also experience the reef underwater, have sharks swim around you, have manta rays go by you, and see the color and diversity.
Now, this story is told from a man who's talking to his son and basically saying, this is your heritage. This is what we give you to take care of in the future. So it's kind of an emotional story, too.
Absolutely. So our sort of protagonist in the film, the person who narrates this film, is a local fisherman turned conservationist called Ronald Mambasar. And he's talking to his 8-year-old son, saying, this is what it was like when I was a kid, and now you get to inherit this. He starts the whole film off with this word, our islands are home. Son, do you know we're blessed?
Anakku, apakah kau tahu betapa?
I mean, it's just so powerful, and I get goosebumps when I hear those words. And it's a really beautiful film. So this is the trick with virtual reality, right? So the big trick is, how do you make a story out of it? There's lots of VR out there. You can put it on and go, gee whiz, this is amazing.
Yeah. You can ski down a mountain,
sure.
You can fly with the birds, but how do you connect with someone with
and
an
make
emotional
a
story? Right.
Because the cuts are different, the editing is different. They're inventing this as we go along.
Sure.
And I think we to some extent succeeded with this film. We created a very powerful, moving story. And then married it with cutting-edge technology. No one had filmed high-level underwater coral reef VR ever. So one of the things with this VR is we actually put these on to the kids who live in the villages we're working in. And they got to see their reef to some extent for the first time. The village chiefs got to see their reefs. Because they're fishermen, they often are just on the surface of the water.
I get it.
And to see what they have below the waves, that was amazing. We have over 200,000 downloads of this video right now.
Wow.
So people are getting the film and watching it. But I think that the new tech is coming out that's going to make this just almost like one stop and much easier to use. We wanted to be a little bit on the edge, on the cutting edge of this, because in a lot of the projects that my organization, Conservation International, works in is far, far away. Places like Suriname and Madagascar and deep into the heart of the Amazon. They're really hard places to take people. Look, it doesn't take away from actually going there. And I actually think when people go through the VR experience, they actually want to go to the real place.
Yeah.
That's my hope to some extent. But it does give you a real sense of what it's like over there.
They're the places that people hear the headlines of front lines of climate change. These are the places that are most vulnerable, but not necessarily next door.
Exactly. And so if I wanted to take folks there, I had to give them a different kind of experience. And I have to say, Sam, it's been remarkable.
You can see Valens Reef by going to conservation.org. Up next, what I like about what you guys do is that you're accessible to people, that you talk to young people.
Of course. So we did a suite of films called Nature Speaking. And then we got great people like Julia Roberts to narrate these.
I've been here for over 4.5 billion years. 22,500 times longer than you.